Welcome to Learning and Language Arts with Mrs. Jones. This is poetry lesson number 5. Today we will be discussing onomatopoeia. An onomatopoeia is a literary device used in all types of literature, including poetry. So we will begin by defining onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is defined as a word which imitates the natural sounds of a thing. It creates a sound effect that mimics the thing described, making the description more expressive and interesting. So, in short, onomatopoeia is a word that imitates the sound of something. Please pause the video now and write your definition on your accountability page. We're going to describe some examples of onomatopoeia. You may write these down on your accountability page as we go. So, boom, splat, splash, pow, pop, crack. All of these words are examples of onomatopoeia. Each word imitates the sound of the action that happens. So when someone jumps into the water, they make a sound. That sound is described with the word splash. When something's sticky or wet falls on the ground, it makes a splat sound. Those are just a few examples. Here's another example, and I'd also like to, with this next example, I'd like to clarify some common misconceptions. So this is a dog barking, okay? The word bark is the action of what the dog is doing. It is not a word that imitates the sound. Bark is not an onomatopoeia. Words that might imitate the sound when a dog barks might be so the word rough, arf, bow wow, yip, and woof are all onomatopoeias used to imitate the sound of a dog barking. If you have any questions here, this would be a time to pause the video and come and clarify these misconceptions with me. All right, today we're going to look at 2 poems, actually. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do, so we get to do them both. We're going to look at another poem by Eve Merriam. Eve Merriam is the poet that wrote Willow and Ginkgo. She has written The Rusty Spigot using onomatopoeia, and also we're going to look at Street Music by Arnold Adolph. So I would like you to pause the video and gather a few supplies. You'll need to collect each of the poems. You'll need a highlighter, scissors, and a glue stick. All right, this is a picture of a spigot. It is used for water. I want you to actually listen to the sound that the spigot makes. All right, we've listened to a little bit of the sound. Now see if Eve Merriam has captured those sounds using these onomatopoeias. The Rusty Spigot by Eve Merriam. The rusty spigot sputters, utters a splutter, spatters a smattering of drops, gashes wider. Slash, splatters, scatters, spurts, finally stops sputtering and plash. Gushes, rushes, splashes, clear water dashes. All right, I'll read it one more time. This time take your highlighter. Highlight any parts of this poem that you really like or any words that you need clarification for. The Rusty Spigot by Eve Merriam. The rusty spigot sputters, utters a splutter, spatters a smattering of drops, gashes wider. Slash, splatters, scatters, spurts, finally stops sputtering and plash. Gushes, rushes, splashes, clear water dashes. All right. Use your poem reflection to write anything that you would like that you, question number 1 asks, what did you like about this poem? So write an idea of what you liked, any words you needed clarification on, and then also what was your favorite line. So go ahead and pause and do that now. We're going to now look at the next poem by Arnold Adolph. And this poem is about a city street. I'd like to take you there. I want you to imagine you're on this city street, and these are the sounds that you might hear. All right, get out the poem, Street Music by Arnold Adolph. I want you to look at the way this poem has been organized. It's quite chaotic if you look at it. I want for you to think about that as we read this poem. Think about what it was like to look at this picture, hear the sounds of a city street. And I want for you to consider why Arnold Adolph organized his poem in this way. Street Music by Arnold Adolph. This city, the always noise grinding up from the subways underground, slamming from bus tires and taxi horns and engines of cars and trucks and all vocabularies of clash, flash, screeching hot metal language combinations, as planes overhead roar, an orchestra of rolling drums and battle blasts assaults my ears with the always noise of this city. Street music. All right, get your highlighter and follow along with me as I read it one more time. Highlight any words you need clarification for and any lines or phrases that you just are drawn to. Street Music by Arnold Adolph. This city, the always noise grinding up from the subways underground, slamming from bus tires and taxi horns and engines of cars and trucks and all vocabularies of clash, flash, screeching hot metal language combinations, as planes overhead roar, an orchestra of rolling drums and battle blasts assaulting my ears with the always noise of this city. Street music. All right, go ahead and pause the video, highlight any sections of this poem that you particularly like, and complete your poem reflection for street music. All right, our poetry journal for today, we're going to be doing pages 9 and 10. On page number 9, I'd like for you to label this page Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is spelled O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. Onomatopoeia. On this page, you're going to cut out both poems, the Rusty Spigot and Street Music, and you're going to use the glue stick to glue them to this page. So go ahead and pause and do that now. All right, this page number 10 is where you will do your writing. I'd like for you to title your poem for today, My Street. And these are the things I want you to consider as you're doing your brainstorming. I want you to think of the street you live on. I want you to imagine that you are standing on the corner and you're closing your eyes and you're just listening to the sounds around you. Boys and girls, what do you hear? I want you to describe the sounds of your street in a poem. So you can use your accountability page to do some brainstorming. These are the 2 rules that you will need to remember as you write your poem, My Street. I want you to remember this is a descriptive poem, so you're going to describe what you see and what you hear. And I want you to make sure that you use at least 4 onomatopoeias. I just want to give you an example of something you might hear. Boys and girls who live up in Diamond Valley or in Winchester Hills or Central or up the road, we have gravel roads. And as a young child is riding their bike on the road, you hear the crunching of the rocks as the wheels like whir past. So you can hear the sound of the tires, but you also hear the sound of the street underneath. And you can create that sound for your reader by using onomatopoeias. Those of you who live in town, think of the traffic driving by. Think of boys and girls on bikes and skateboards going down the road. Music coming from cars, talking, all of those type of things that you hear and see going on your street. Okay, so again, a descriptive poem about what you see and hear on your street, and use at least 4 onomatopoeias. You may utilize Google as you are looking for that perfect word. You can Google onomatopoeia and you may find several lists of great words to incorporate in your poetry. I am looking forward to meeting with you tomorrow and going over and reviewing your poems and checking in with you. Good luck and have fun. That's all for today with Mrs. Jones in Language Arts.